All right, I pushed the button to say to go live. It says that I'm live, so I'm going to believe it. Hello, everyone. My name is Carrow Brown. I am an urban fantasy author, and I also write under the name of Faye Black. And we are here today to be productive, to get things done, which is good because I really need to plan this month out a little bit. I have a lot going on, and it's a little chaotic, so I think this will be, on my end, more of a plan with me instead of the actual writing. But I am happy to say that we're only like day 2 into October, and it's already kind of going the way I really wanted it to. I already finished a short story. I'm on second day of walking 10 miles a day and all this other stuff. So I'm feeling pretty hyped. I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm looking forward to trying to keep that momentum going. If you are new here, oh God, stop it, Mr. No spiders, no. So the reason he's putting spiders in the chat, that's my husband, by the way, is because we went and did a hike in one of the parks in the area, and it was covered in spiders, like about that big, like all over the place, like big, no, thank you. We were ducking under webs and everything. And the moment where I was like, no, we're walking back to the car now, is when a snake like slithered between my husband's feet. And I was just, and then of course, I'm in the forest. So like all the branches and broken stuff on the ground now all look like snakes. Right. So I'm just like, no, thank you. Anyway, thank you for getting me off topic. Anyway, back to why we're here and what we're doing. We're going to be doing productivity sprints. We will be working for 20-minute increments with 10-minute breaks. And we'll also be having a discussion in regards to creating plot with layers, and mostly because this is an author channel, so I do like to discuss writing craft and all that goodness. And this topic was actually voted for on the community tab. So if you are a subscriber or you're somebody who comes and checks out my channel every now and then, you'll see that there's an option to do that. I did not put in this option last time because the last time I did up a poll, they said we want this one and then that one next. So I'm just kind of honoring what the people are asking for. Next time I will put up a poll, and then we can kind of decide. I tend to throw up like 3 topics, you guys decide, and we go from there. And if I find like there's a lot of good questions or discussion about it, I try to make it a video for you guys later on down the road. So I try to give people what they want. So, all right, now while we go ahead and we wait for a few folks to pop on in, I would like to say hello to the ones that are already here. Dea is here, working on world building, trying to define the laws of physics for a fictional universe. I just started minutes ago. That is exciting. I love world building. We had that discussion last time about like all the different things that you do with world building. And there's actually a really good book. I have it right here because I was using it earlier as I move all this junk on my desk that you guys can't see. This book, if you guys are interested, and I'll hold it up to the camera, it's called the Kobold Guide to World Building. And it is a book that is for running tabletop games and stuff like that, but it has such good questions and great things for you to consider when you're talking about your world building, especially if it's a fictional universe that you're creating. And it one of them is you have to define the religion and the dogma of the religion, because that will also have ripple effects into like your society laws and stuff like that. Like, it's so good. Like, this is I was really thankful that my boss over at the gaming group that I'm with recommended that I read this, because it's been so good. Like, I highlighted it, I took notes in the margins, everything. Great resource. I love it. So anyway, that's enough about me being geeky about that. Let's see, Venom is here, and they say that they are doing something writing related, so that's awesome. So I hope you make progress on that. Jacqueline is here. Thank you so much for joining us, and is editing a vlog. That is exciting. I've debated maybe getting back into vlogs, but I don't think it will be this month because I just have so much going on. I don't know if I could really squeeze anything. It would just always be me looking constantly tired, and I don't think we're here for that. So Debbie is here. Debbie is working on their comic script and not sure if it will be Wolf Moon. Okay, well, let us know. I'm very interested. That's so exciting, though. I'm really happy that you keep working on that stuff. Misty Kate is here. Hello, Misty Kate. Thank you for joining us. Working a little bit of the work I didn't do during the week, and hopefully writing later. Happy Preptober. Yeah, I have a couple of admin things that I need to do on my end as well. There's like an email I haven't responded to yet on my author email that I'm going to get to during this first sprint. And then after that, it's going to be me planning how to move forward with a lot of different things. So I can't believe it's already Preptober. I don't know what I'm writing for Nano, guys. I don't know. I'm stressing. Okay, anyway, so Cio is here. Hello, Cio. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. Hi, Care Bear. Hi, writing friends. Working on 3 short stories. 2 are 75% done. 1 is 25% done. First draft of Project 13 is almost completed. Yes. Working with percentages instead of word counts. So yay. Oh, that's a nice way to do that. I like that a lot. I think my progress bar right now is just do like that 1 short story a week, like draft it and move on. That's where I am on that. Today's stories are about magical contact lenses that let you see the future, a stolen witch's spell book, and the spooky magic shop itself. So I'm pumped. Oh, that's so fun. Like, so what happens if like that contact like rolls back into your eye? Because I had a contact lens that did that. That could be fun. I'm just saying. Spider snakes, oh my. Esha, thank you for coming and visiting, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Sense here. Hello, Sense. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we have a good productivity time. Sky's here. Hello, Sky. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very happy to see you. Hope you and the kids are doing well. Let's see. You are most welcome for that book, Rick. I am always recommending books to folks. It's probably on brand for me outside of talking about organization and productivity. Sky says, I'm hanging out at the laundry mart waiting for clothes and decorating my bujo. Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for saying that, Sky, because that reminds me. If you guys are interested in more planning stuff, later today on Lisa Daly's channel is going to be the Boozy Plannerama. So it's where Lisa and I get together with our planners and we finish planning stuff. So whatever I don't get sorted today, I will get sorted in that 2-hour sprint. So that is going to be on her channel at 8 p.m. EST. I will grab a link and put it in the chat if you guys are interested in that. All right, and Marty is here. Hello, Marty. I hope you are doing well. What are you working on today? So, yay. I'm so glad you guys are here. It's been so busy the last week. It's like, for those of you who don't know, I work over at Rippaverse, and it's been life-changing. It really has been. And we started fulfillment last week, and it's just been nonstop with like messages and like, you know, just making things keep the ball rolling. And I'm so excited. It's one of those jobs where it doesn't feel like a job. It's just like, because you're just so excited to see it happen. So it's been great. It's also been time consuming, which is why I have to try and get my life together today. Mama Ward is here. Hello, Mama Ward. I hope you're doing well. I was thinking about you today. I was thinking about you because I was going to reach out to you and ask you a question. And now that I'm looking at your name, I don't remember the question. So when I remember it, I will probably message you on Instagram or somewhere else. You let me know where the better place to do that is. Mama Ward says, I'm editing because I'm on my daughter's old laptop with keyboard issues. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. All right. So with that said, I think we're getting to 8 minutes into the stream. So I'd like to go ahead and start with the first sprint and get some of the stuff on my end resolved because we're kind of at that point. Before we do that, though, because this is a discussion stream, I am going to first change my banners. I'm going to ask the first question. I'm going to explain it. That way we're all on the same page. So in today's topic where we're talking about writing plots and writing plots with layers, one of the first things I like to ask individuals who are considering this are the kind of plots that you're drawn to. And the reason I ask that is because we naturally emulate things that we typically like or admire. That's why when authors of classic literature first start writing, they have like that kind of old timesy feel because that's the stuff that they're drawn to. So for me, the plots that I'm drawn to are usually like interpersonal. I really like interpersonal things, especially with like family dramas. So like, kid gets kicked out of the house, parents and child learn to love each other again. That's kind of like the overall gist of it. And I really like that because I'm also like a really big fan of like the family unit and like overcoming difficulties to like come together kind of thing. I'm a big fan of those vibes. So those are the ones that I really like. And you can always work and I think one guy I know, he's really a big fan of like the world is going to end. Like if we don't do this, the world will end. He's always writing stuff like that. I was like, could we write a plot where the world doesn't end? Like I knew the stakes have to be high, but maybe not that high. Maybe we could talk about losing a job or something like that. So that's going to be fun. Let's see. I didn't even think that there were kinds of plot before this moment. Oh yeah, there totally are. So you can have like your introspection, your like just like the kind that you're drawn to, right? And it's usually kind of like a theme, so to speak. And before I start babbling too much, you've got like your internal plot, which is your character development, and you have your external plot, which is typically what your character is reacting to, right? And those are like two levels that you can work on when you're kind of like integrating them into your storytelling. And it can get kind of complicated depending on how many things that you have going on in your story, but I usually tell folks that if you know what the end point is going to be, you can kind of spring it out from there and kind of weave it together at that point. So, yes. Let's see. And then Wolfie is here. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I'm really honored. I hope you... What are you working on today? Before I get totally carried away with how excited I am to start getting stuff done. So, oh, and then Banu is here. Hello, Banu. I totally missed your hi, good morning thing right there. I'm coming back. I'm so into deep characterizations. Yes, yes. Okay, now we're gonna get started. So anyway, that's the question. So what are the kind of plots that you're drawn to? What are the books that you like and the plots that you find in there? So again, I really like plots that involve, reconnecting family units. That's my thing. So let me find this last one. Okay, so we're in the middle of sprint. So again, we're gonna write or work or be productive, fold laundry, decorate bujos, whatever you want. 20 minutes, yours to do with as you see fit. And then we'll reconvene, chat for about 10 minutes, and then move on to the next thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this timer, and I will talk to you guys in 20 minutes. Okay, so that was time. Feel free to share what you did, how you did, and all that goodness. I looked at that one email that I needed to respond to, and then I had to contact somebody to actually answer that question. And in the next sprint, I will actually respond to it. But I did get Carrow's Tarot pre-order up, so that is officially live on that side of things, and I just need to start blasting that everywhere. And then I'm working on another pre-order that I wanted to have out in December. But if you guys know anything about trying to like do pre-orders on Amazon, there's like a whole bunch of like little tiny things that you have to do before you can be like, go, be free into the world. So that's what I'm doing. Fun stuff, right? Like that's why we do this, to manage everything. All right, so some of you answered my question. So, okay, I meant to answer one. I got you. All right, so Misty Kate says in answer to the question, I like working with emotional internal conflict over external conflict, aka plot, mostly because I put characters over plot, which is pretty common. A lot of individuals like character-driven stories over external plot. Let's see. When you say kind of plot, do you mean like dual timelines or dual subject content, like Into the World? The latter. What's going on in a person's life versus the external plot. I'm trying to think of a really good example. X-Men, right? So X-Men actually had 3 layers of plot in it at any given time. The very first level of plot that they used to have in traditional X-Men was always character driven, right? It was kind of like their relationship with other people, how it was kind of like affecting choices that they made. After that level was the main plot, which had to do with like whoever the bad guy was and how they were going to stop that person from doing bad things. And then they had a third plot level, which was kind of mirroring common things that were happening at the time that they wanted to reflect on in the comics, right? So that's I probably should have started off by explaining types of plots with that example, and that would have made more sense, but it didn't occur to me. So that's what I mean by different plot levels. Let's see. Mama War. Oh, wait. I didn't even read Mysticate. No, I did read Mysticates. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to my stream. It is a hot mess here. Mama Ward says, I like plots with layers that are more about characters moving through events than event-driven plots, but that is because I am more interested in people and their reactions, which is fair. Sky says, character-driven plots are the best. Most of the time, I don't care about what's actually going on as long as the characters are moving the story forward with the choices that they make. Yes, because we like plot that matters to what we're reading. Absolutely. Dia says, I think the plots I'm working on with my series are escalation. It starts at some point and then gets extremely worse until everything blows up at the end. Good. We like that. Yes. Boom. Big explosions. Spend the budget on the explosion. That's what the Muppets did, and it worked for them. Nano planning, outlining the 3rd book in my murder mystery trilogy. We love that. MC is former military intelligence officer. We also like that here. Now private investigator. That's actually pretty common. Well done. And trying to cope with PTSD. Equally, I really want to read this book. So whenever you have it out, please like throw it my way. I will gobble that up. That's definitely my leaning. Venom says occult mystery plots, usually involving cults, detective work, and monster hunting. Oh, you would love all the occult detective books that are out there then. Have you read? I always talk about this author. Have you read Jim Butcher's Harry Dresden Files? Because he's got a lot of that in there. And it's really fucking good. I don't think... There's only one book where I was just kind of like, about, I think it was Full Moon. After that was really amazing. Yes, I am also equally excited. Mama Ward, I think that's the thing I wanted to ask you, because I have the Street Team copy available and I put it in the Discord. I was going to ask if you needed me to send it to you again or something else. So you let me know where to contact you and give you that good stuff. Let's see. 452 words. Fantastic. And story 1 is done. Yes. Good job. So the answer, plots where the protagonist and the antagonist have the same issues but end up on opposite sides because of reasons. Also, dual timeline plots where the past affects the present. That last one is complicated. Not everybody can pull that off. That's why in video games, especially like MMOs, when they start like putting time travel into it, we all just check out. We're like, we're done. You're trying to rewrite because you don't know how to make more content, kind of thing. But I definitely like the protagonist and antagonist. And since I used the X-Men example earlier, that would, Professor Xavier and Magneto are a really good example of that too. I have not. I take the rec. Okay, so Dresden Files is the series by Jim Butcher. I'm going to just type it in here. Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. Fantastic book series. He's like 22 books in. I think he's got his writing act together pretty well. But if you're into occult detective mysteries, that's where you would probably have a really good time at. Okay, perfect. Let me know if that doesn't work. Let's see. Devil May Cry did that really well. Yep. It was simple and well executed. I hear so many good things about Devil May Cry. Have you? I don't know if you're into anime or manga, but there's another one. It's called Ghost Hunt, and every time, like, there's something about the way that they do the storytelling where always like really like inspires me to write. I read the manga and I watched the anime. They had like a 24 issue special. It was so good. And naturally, like, I'm a fan of it's really good and it needs to end, then go ahead and end it. But I was definitely like, I could have used more for this. There you go. Mama Ward said time travel is so tricky to write, especially when you have one set of characters moving one way through time and then going back and forth because event books apart have to seem the same yet different enough to be interesting to the reader. Very, very true. I dabble in anime and manga, prefer Western media overall, which is fair. But if you have a couple hours to throw out the window and you want to give it a check, it's really good. I usually don't recommend mangas very often, but that one's pretty awesome. One of my work in progress is a dual timeline, and yeah, it's a beast, but apparently I can't write simple plots, lols. I also struggle with that, but this writing a short story a week challenge that I'm doing is kind of helping me like fine-tune that just a little tiny bit. So, all right, so that was the first question, which is what kind of plots are drawn to. And again, I asked that because, again, we as human beings will first emulate the things that we admire before we actually start working on our own. I'm going to pull up the second question now. All right, so second question is, when creating plots, do you focus on the internal character arcs or the external plot, right? And normally what I do when I'm writing my plots out is I will, this will surprise no one, but I'll have an Excel spreadsheet and I'll have the character plot on one column. I'll have the antagonist plot on the one next to it. I'll have the external plot. And if there's another one that's going on, I'll start listing it off onto the other side. That only really happens for like my books that are a series, because I try to have like a common plot throughout all of the books. That way that all ties together. But yeah, so I will first like focus on the internal plot, and then I'll consider how the external plot can feed into that. So yes, Ranger is spotted. They're both in here. This is Kissy over here. I don't know if you guys have met Kissy. That's my my girl dog. Let's see. And then, Vixens of Fiction. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are doing well. How's your puppers doing? And then time travel has consequences, things that the character always has to pay for in some way or another, i.e. one character went back to save her husband but got her bestie, the savior, killed, and yet then couldn't fix it, which resulted in the end of everything. Yeah, and then it also kind of depends on like what timeline theory that you're using, because you've got like sliders and Back to the Future. Like if you change one point in history, does it change everything? Like time writing, I know about it, and I know enough about it to be like, not for me. So there you go. But let me see. Did I miss anybody? I bet I did. Oh, Mr. K answered my question. Did Mr. K answer my question? I am not sure. Okay, so let's see. External plot first. That could, yeah, and then I tend to focus more on internal. I love it. It's like, are you a planner or a plotter? Do you figure out the internal or the external first? All right, let me see. Okay, so we're about to start another sprint. Again, it's going to be for 20 minutes. So these 20 minutes are yours to do with as you see fit. You can answer this question. You can work on your stuff and then answer it afterwards. It's whatever works for you. But we're going to go ahead and start this next sprint, and I almost got my timing right. Oh, so I'll talk to you guys in 20 minutes. Okay, so that was time. Feel free to share what you did, how you did, and all that goodness. I got the second pre-order set up and is live. That one's for Faye Black. And then I also responded to that email and I reached out to another book formatter. So just living the dream here, guys. Living the dream. This is what happens when you're a one-woman author show. So you have to do all the fun stuff yourself. Okay. Let me see. So everybody started posting if they started on the external or the internal first. And again, I made the correlation that I was pretty much like, do you plot your books or you write them by the seat of your pants? Because that's kind of what that feels like to me right now. And then as a reminder, we had Dia said external, Mama Ward said internal. We had some time travel talk. All right, Venom, in answer to this question, said, I try to have an even balance, usually by establishing a character's internal struggle and using the external plot as a source of absolution for the character or characters in question. That is fantastically worded. Well done. I really like that. I'm going to steal that. No, emulate it. I'm going to emulate it. Yes, that's the word that we use. CO said, focus on the external plot since it usually comes to me first. Internal and character arc is a bit of a struggle, though, and sometimes I get internal arc after I've written the first draft. Oh, that's fair. Sky says, I focused on the internal plot first. Once I figure out the beginning and the end of the character arc, I can focus on the external plot that gets them from point A to point B. Oh, that's nice. I like that, too. Yes, all the pre-orders. I'm supposed to, for those of you who don't know, I decided to try like that crazy, it's not crazy, but that very demanding publishing pace of doing one short story a week. And so far I've got 2 up right now. I have to go find a few stories and get them formatted, but I think for those ones I'm probably going to do them myself because formatters usually have like a base pay that they want you to do, and I can't really justify 5,000 words at that price level. So I think I've got something here that I'll use to go ahead and set that up. Let's see. For my murder mystery trilogy, the MC internal arc underpins his progress of solving the external plot. So internal first, then external changes provoking his response. Oh, I like that. I'm going to think about that because I have one mystery character that I'm working on right now. Maybe. Okay, I'm coming back to that train of thought. CO says 330 words, story 2 completed. I included the part where the contact lenses get caught in the eye. It's first draft, anything goes. Absolutely. They call it the rainbow vomit draft because nobody cares what your puke looks like as long as you get it out, right? I do not want to cancel. Did I miss the invite? If you guys saw me looking at my phone, it's because my aunt said she was going to invite me to a Pokemon raid invite, but I don't see it. I think she lied to me. Sniffles. That's my internal plot. Lie to me. Never trust you again. I stole that from Igor because I made the mistake of saying I was going to do something. I was like, oh, no, sorry, guys, I lied. And he's like, never trust you again. And now I just always, like, throw that everywhere. I absolutely love it. Gotta go. Happy writing, everybody. Well, thank you so much for coming, and I hope that we see you again soon. Please be safe. We will be here next Sunday, working diligently as always. Perfect. Oh, that was fun. All right, so the only thing I have left to do are actually some things that I would have to leave this desk for, so I'm looking for other things. I could probably put in the request for that. Watching Carrow plan in real time. We love it. Let's see. Roll D20 description. I'm so happy that book is with the editor. Can't wait to publish it. It will be great. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. It's definitely my favorite geeky romance of all time. All right, let me pull that up. I think I'm going to make another timer probably sometime this week because I like this one, but as I keep listening to it over and over, I hear where I've gone wrong. And if it irks me, it's got to irk you guys. So I'm probably going to take a look at it and see what I can do. And we'll see where she comes up at. If she is here anyway. Is that who I think it is? Oh no, I hate it when they change their avatars. Because that means I have to remember their name. I wonder where that one got. I'm trying to remember stuff. Oh man, figuring it out with Carrow Brown. Good times, good times. Oh, yay, I'm glad that you love them. Thank you, Mama Ward. I definitely had a lot of fun drafting all those cards, and the line artist that I worked with was just really like top notch on getting them the way that I wanted to. He even like at some points was like, I see you did this in the card. We have to change it. I was like, do we have to? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, fine. But usually everything that he did came out like so much better than what I had in there. So that was really exciting. Let's see. Sky says, are you doing some kind of experiment video vlog discussion of your short story publishing journey? I'm curious about how it's going to go for you. You know, I hadn't thought about it, but I probably could. I think I found it's not a GoPro, but it's like a GoPro knockoff. I found it, and then I found the battery charger. After I found them, I put them in different places, so I don't know where they are. But, you know, that's actually a pretty good idea. I'm curious about how it's going to go for you and what your personal requirements for it are. Well, I'm definitely trying to follow that book that Tamara Woods discussed on Writer's Workshop. And in the book, Faith said that she usually keeps her manuscripts between 7 to 11K words. The one I finished this week is actually 5.5K. And the reason it's 5.5K is because I literally just vomited it out. And I know I'm going to go back and change some stuff or add some more details. I sent it to an alpha reader, and mostly because I don't really like I was writing that one from a male point of view, so I had to send it to a guy and be kind of like, yeah, like, tell me if I'm off base here. And he was like, no, that's great. And I was like, oh, yes. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, no, I should do a vlog. Hold on. So the last thing on my to-do list is find GoPro. I guess I could start doing vlogs again at some point. We'll see. I know some folks were asking for those, and now that I've gotten a little bit more settled at home, I might be able to do that. Let's see, workout length, royalty amounts you're aiming for, success, etc. Yeah, no, I mean, in the book, she talks about how she makes like $1,000 plus off of the short stories, and how she's always publishing like on a set schedule about once a week. And the experiment so far is just to see what happens in 3 months. If it happens to go really well, I'm just going to keep doing that. Yes, you're all curious. Okay, well, I guess I'll vlog it. Okay, there you go. I give the people what they want. You want to watch me vlog about this? I will definitely do it. I know Ford stories are all between 4 and 7K, and I want to do the same experiment, but with 10 to 20K stories. Absolutely, you should do that. And I'm definitely going to follow that price thing that she's got for 99 cents for each one, because I think that that's key, because I think we're all willing to, like, you know, spend 99 cents on a story, so to speak. I think I want the strength card on a t-shirt. I will make that happen for you, ma'am. Absolutely. I will definitely make that available. All right. So with that, let me take Mama Ward off the ladder. Oh my goodness. I can't operate StreamYard. Peer pressure at its finest. Yes. All right. So the third question before we start this next sprint is going to be, what is an example of a plot that you don't enjoy, right? So it's really easy for us to talk about things that we do like, but it's also really good to focus on the things that we have not enjoyed, because that will help us kind of steer away from plots that we find shallow. I'm going to say it that way. And I don't have an immediate answer to this question, which is convenient because I've only got a couple more seconds before we do the next sprint. So when we come back, we'll definitely discuss examples of plots that we don't enjoy and define why it is that we don't enjoy them. And No wrong answers here. Again, it's always personal preference. So, all right, I'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Aha! We're not actually done. We have one more sprint, so I'm gonna just zoom this back. There we go. Okay, so feel free to share what you did. Feel free to share what you did, how you did, and all that nonsense. While this takes its sweet time loading. All right, cool. Thunder King. I just like the plots that like the plain film with Liam Neeson. I always hated those poor attempts at suspense. Yeah, there's definitely a couple of. I think it was the story detective he did. We called it word stock at the time. We'd all come together and we'd all have a conversation about like some part of writing craft, and we all had a discussion in regards to like writing suspense. So I'm trying to remember what I said about it. I think I was just really focused on telling the difference between thrill and suspense because those are two different things, and a lot of people get them mixed up together. Let's see. All right, so the answer to the third question here is going to be Mama Ward said, enemies to lovers is a trope I hate. When it becomes a plot, it annoys me because it's so hard to do well. In full disclosure, I have it as a subplot, but it was where the MC was more his own enemy than the female FCs. Oh, the male character. Okay, I was like, are you having like a sticky key problem, my friend? I'm not sure if this question has a truly concrete answer. It does not. It's all about personal preference at this point. And the reason I ask these questions is, again, because when we're talking about plots with layers, it's really important to kind of identify, I don't want to say bias because that word now has negative associations, but it's really important to kind of understand where we stand with plot and plots that we like or dislike. So that way when we're moving forward, we're a little bit more aware of it. But I suppose that was part of the fun. Yes. Tell me about you and your leanings. Just took his anger and insecurity out on her because he was being an arse. We have another part. Mama Ward, you got stuff to say. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So Mama Ward says, I also don't like the born to be enemies plot. I want a real reason. Give me the sibling struggle or the Warring Kingdoms or supernatural background manipulation, because even opposing personalities can find a way to get along and work together when they act like adults. Very true. The trope I don't like is the dead parent trope. I think I've talked about that before. And the reason I don't like the dead parent trope, and is your hero has basically they have no family, right? Like, they have no family unit that they make. And a lot of times they don't even have like the family we make either. So I get really annoyed with that because it feels like a cheap way to earn sympathy from the reader. It's like, oh my goodness, this poor orphan. And I dislike that about as much as I hate the way that people like to showcase somebody being evil with sexual assault. That can go away anytime now. It's become such a lazy thing, and I see it a lot in YA fiction right now. And again, don't get me wrong, it's a very terrible thing, but it gets so overused in fiction right now. I'm like, there are other ways to show that somebody is a terrible human being outside of this one thing. Like, there's like go kick a puppy, right? Think about John Wick and his puppy situation. That was definitely an evil guy being mean. And then Venom says, plots where the protagonist learns nothing and has no adversity. Yes, the Gary Sue. There has to be a reason to root for, or at least follow the character. Stories with no conflict are not compelling. Yeah, absolutely. Because my friend who's been writing for like 20 years, he said that if you have a story that's nothing but conflict and dialogue, you'll have a bestseller. And he said that, and at first I was like, what's he talking about? And then I read some other books, and I was like, man, this mofo right. I would also say a plot with an identity crisis, not as in a character within it, but the plot that loses itself in its layers. So in publishing, that's called letting your story get away from you. That tends to be how they refer to it. And I've definitely been there myself. My first book, Queen of Swords and Silence, that plot did get away from me, and it was my fault because I was trying to work so much stuff into the greater series plot in that first book that when I was asked to like give my elevator pitch for it, I was struggling. So don't be me. Get your act together. Let's see. Sky says, where characters don't learn anything or grow at the end of the story. Yeah, so the only way that you can really get away with doing something like that, that's called the neutral character arc, and that's where the world changes around the character. But that means that the story and what's happening with the world around the character needs to be, like, interesting. But I do like that. But I do like that characters do grow and change. That's referred to as the positive character arc. So they start in a low place, they learn some lessons, they become better people, and then they're likable. A really good example of that, it's called The Simple Wild. And it is a romance story about the city girl in Toronto, and she goes to be with her father for reasons I don't want to give away in case you guys want to read the book. But my first impression of this character was terrible. I hated her. I was at one point where I was like, why am I even listening to this book right now? And she really did redeem herself, and she did a lot of growing throughout the story, and I came to really like it. I even cried. I had tears at one point. The story moved me to have a feel. It was insane. But Batman doesn't change, right? The world changes around Batman, or Batman makes it change around him. I think the interesting thing about Batman is that he's always got conflict with the people around him. You know what I mean? He's got like this extensive Bat family, and how many of them are broken off because they can't, deal with Batman's controlling ways and all that other stuff. Wait, hold on, back up. You snuck into my stream, sir. Hello, I hope you're having a good day. He's sneaky. Theo says, let's see, convenient plots like two longtime friends busting up over tiny misunderstandings have a combo G's, or minor plot armor where the main character is the only alive because the plot needs them to be alive. Yeah, I've seen those too. I will say that I have seen friends that do break up over tiny misunderstandings, and what I have found, and if you are going to do that and you want to do it well, you already have to have one of those characters set up with some kind of flaw, or like they have like a skewed idea of what's going on and they don't want to deal with it anymore, right? Like they're just done. So it's not so much that they're busting up over a reason, they're just looking for a reason to go. Like that's really the only way, right? And that could be its own character plot story, and it would be a lot of fun. My ward asked me a question. And just one second. Mama Ward and Queen of Swords of Silence. I think that could be a trilogy in just that one book. Well, I mean, it is a pretty hefty book, and I had a lot to say in 120 or 110,000 words. So yeah. All right, question that Mama Ward is asking me: do you think the hero's journey encourages or decreases the dead parents, versus where the hero's journey that shows a family or a found family can make a story more appealing? No, I don't think the hero's journey encourages the dead parent trope. I think the whole thing with the hero's journey is that it, as much as some people don't like to say, it's the general template of how stories tend to go. It's about being in the regular world. You set off, and by the time you get done with the entire story, you've returned back to your world, but you've returned back changed, right? I've seen a lot of stories where there aren't the dead parent tropes. Disney likes to use it very frequently. Like they're a frequent offender. It's either dead parent trope or single parent, right? Like we don't really see a lot of nuclear family within Disney films. I'm trying to think of who has. I've read some stories where there are actually. It's romances. I read a lot of romances where the heroine always has like her family that she can fall back to. And I think that's a really powerful thing that a lot of people seem to like overlook, is that when times are really hard, like where do you go to for help kind of thing. And more, given the way that things are right now, people don't want to go back home, or they don't seem to be wanting to go back home for whatever reason. And I get it. But I think I could do a whole stream about that conversation. I'm not going to. Anyway, no, I don't think that the hero's journey encourages the dead parent trope. I think it is encouraged because people are looking for cheap sympathy, and that is the easy out. So there you go. Don't you be sorry. I dropped by for inspiration. Don't be sorry, sir. I always appreciate you coming and hanging out with us for a little bit. Let's see. I think a flat character is okay as long as they're grounded already. Yeah, it depends on what you need them to do as well. Like we can't have a weak, stupid flat character that has nothing that makes up for those things. I guess it really depends on how you want to implement them. But if you have a good example, I would definitely like to educate myself on that. I have done misunderstandings ruin friendship, but it was because LA and the trainload of baggage that was always expecting everybody he meant to betray him, so he took a year to try and make things right. So in psychology, we call that, I can't remember. I'm going to pause this. Okay, because you got me on the psychology part of this, right? So there are people that when they meet like you see it a lot with relationships, like romance relationships. And what happens is because somebody has either like low self-esteem or they have I'm not worth it syndrome, right? They'll enter a relationship and they'll start to enjoy it, but there's always a subtle thought of like, I'm going to be sad when this is gone, right? Like they've already set themselves up for failure. And so because they're already looking at things through that lens, they kind of like make it happen, right? And it goes back to like being your own worst enemy, sort of thing. So, and we talked about that a little bit in psychology with the marriage counseling course that we took, which I found out was very quickly not going to be for me. Couples counseling, all that other stuff. I was like, yeah, not my jam. But it always, when we have relationships and we have interpersonal relationships, if we already enter conversations with assumptions and biases or expectations about how those conversations should go, then the conversation has already failed. You know what I mean? So when we need to have discussions with individuals in order to do conflict resolution, it's important that we don't walk in with the expected outcome. We're going in there to find the outcome, right? So take that for what it is. Carrow, life advice, free of charge. Let's see. Most stories, especially kids' stories, feature dead parents or parents with with dead brain cells. These things come from the things some of these kids get up to. Parents might as well be dead. Yeah, like it used to drive me nuts with Nickelodeon films where like the kids were always smarter than the parents, and I had a thing against that because it kind of causes a little bit of rebellion with children and their parents. And that's going to happen regardless because teenage years are a thing, right? But it kind of sets up that parents are dumb and kids are smarter. You know what I mean? And that's not always the case. And I used to see it a lot with Nickelodeon when I was growing up. I have not seen Nickelodeon lately. So if that's changed, then I'm outdated. But yeah, so I get what you're saying there. Mr. Popo and oh yeah. He's definitely a static character. He just kind of shows up and he's like, I have the Deus Machina, and then he leaves, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, I get what you mean. I guess most of my examples are mentors. Yeah, you could make that a static character for sure. I totally did the dead parent trope, but the character goes to live with the other parent. I'm sure he made it work much better than some of the places that I've seen it. I'll search for a main character. Okay, cool. I love these examples, though. These are good. Okay, so that was great. So we're on our last sprint. And I should probably put up the last question because that's what I should do because I'm a good host and I do what I say I'm going to do. All right, so the last question that we're going to have here is how many plots are you currently looking to weave together, right? So earlier I used X-Men as the example, if you guys recall, or if you popped in later and you didn't hear me talk about that. So X-Men tends to have like 3 big plots, right? Big 3 plots. First one's going to be character plot, then it's going to be main story plot, and then you're going to have your mirroring current events plot. So in older, like in original X-Men, it was X-Men, they were, a metaphor for, social right movement that was going on at the time. But that was the 3rd layer. It did happen. It was a thing, but it wasn't like the dominant layer. We were focusing on characters and their struggles and trying to connect with like friends and families and dealing with rejection and then having that impact the choices that was going on in the main plot. And obviously with the main plot, there were several main plots that were going on and all that other stuff. But so X-Men had 3 main plots. Book series like Jim Butcher, I'm always going to use him as an example because he's a very fine example of good writing. With Jim Butcher, he has a lot of different plot layers. He has the shit that Harry goes through, right? He's got the shit that Harry's done coming back to haunt him. He's got the external plot of having to deal with the way that people treat him because of the shit that he's done, right? So he's got those 2 things. And then he's got whatever's going on either with like vampires or the fake court or werewolves or any of that other stuff. It's so like he's got a lot going on. And obviously it's a 22 book series, so he kind of like finds ways to showcase it at any given time. And then what I found to be really interesting, if you ever get to book 22, is that he brought it all together in like such a fantastic way. It was so good. Granted, I had to, at one point in that book, I had to put it down because something happened in the book. And I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go find myself and come back and finish this literature. So anyway, so how many plots are you looking to weave in your current work? I had, with Roll D20 for Love, I had 3 plots that were woven in there. I had the romance plot, right? I had the character conflict plot, and then I had the external, what was going on. So that was mine. Oh, and with this script that I'm writing, I think I have way too much to the point where I'm going to have to simplify it because it's just crazy. Anyway, I've talked a lot. We're going to do a sprint. Let's do the sprint. 20 minutes. Do what you want with these 20 minutes, and I will check back in with you guys at the end, and we will end the stream and go on a merry way. See you in 20. All right, that is time and the last sprint that we are going to do for today. So feel free to share what you did, how you did, and all that goodness. I was reviewing a script that I had done, and it needs some work. So I'm going to come back to it later. This is for one of my projects that I've got going on. It's actually the one that I wrote for that book a week. It's one of those. And definitely Rainbow Vomit method very prevalent there because I was really just writing stuff as fast as I could, and it just needs some, some TLC, some love. So, so how many plots are you currently looking to weave together? So at least in the story that I was reviewing and editing, I'm looking to weave about 4 plots in there. One of them has to do with sins of the father. I think Venom had said that, and that's a good summary of that plot. Another one has to do with grieving, social acceptance, and then the last one is just about transition. So it's about transition. But yeah, so facing fears, breaking cycles, sins of the father. I think I'm onto something here. Is it possible to do perspective switch flashback in order to bring events to the present? I have seen it done in fiction. I've seen it done in graphic novels as well. It really kind of depends on how you want to do it. There was a science fiction novel called Artemis, and in Artemis, they would have flashbacks to like a pen pal moment in order to explain some of the characters' motivations at that point. Excuse me. Mama Ward says, in the Gargoyle Shifter, Maine, I can't say this name, establishes herself as queen and getting revenge on the queen that tried to enslave her. Subplot 1, vigilante helping werewolf, religious war. Subplot 2, emotional overcoming trauma issues with the male main character, female main character to become friends because of their inner beast bonding. And reunion of one gargoyle SC and a reincarnated wolf love. Gift of the deity. Oh, you guys are so planned out on this. Let me finish getting to Mama Ward's last one. 4K years ago, eldest gargoyle made a bargain with Egyptian deities to protect their temples for 1,500 years for the soul of the wolf he loved to return to him every few generations. Hey, what we do for love, right? Sky says anywhere between 3 to 5, depending on if it's a standalone or a series. The news says putting the finishing touches on a glossary. Oh, that's right, you're working on a glossary. And then, to be honest, the struggle they're having at the current plot pace is more interesting than the main character's struggle. See, Reese said brainstorm for NaNoWriMo, looking at A, B, and C plots. I also read a great passage about thinking small when it comes to storytelling. I guess that means that we get carried away with stuff, right? I haven't done my NaNoWriMo plotting either. Which is sad because I said I was going to do it together with Reese. Reese, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. But we are in Preptober. So Preptober is a great time to prep for NaNoWriMo in November. So I think probably what I'll do is as soon as I end the stream, I'm going to go for a run so I can finish off my 20K step day and figure out what kind of story I want to tell. It's probably going to have to be something new. I'm not going to get an old project and finish it because that would, well, for me, it defeats the purpose, but I would probably write a lot faster if it was a new project. I need to start Preptober too. And CO says 2 out of the 3 short stories are done. Fantastic. Started getting hungry, so I opted to use the last sprint to get lunch. Online Korean classes start in less than an hour. Still, Project 13 is 90% complete. Lovely. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm so glad you're able to get that done with us. Thank you so much for sharing that progress with us, CO. Also, thank you for checking on me on Instagram to make sure that I was alive after Hurricane Ian. Manu did the same thing too. I appreciate you guys caring about my well-being. Thank you very much. We are very fine in this part of Florida. We just got like this big like cold front that basically made all my plants go what's happening and then wilt. So that was exciting. Oh, man. All right, so that's going to bring us to the end of the stream. I'm going to go ahead and end. As I said earlier, I've got some pre-orders that are up right now, but I don't have them in the video. I will definitely put those out for you guys. The marketing for Carrow's Tarot is going to start officially tomorrow. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, please message me wherever you see fit to that you are interested in assisting with that, and I will work something out with you. Sorry, now I'm thinking about Preptober and what I'm going to write for NaNoWriMo. Oh man, this is going to be great. All right, anyway, I'm going to end. Thank you guys so much for coming. I will be streaming again next Sunday, and then I'm going to have a video out tomorrow, and tomorrow's video has to do with how to make series Bibles, which we did discuss last time, but we had such a good discussion, I wanted to make a video about it, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, now I'm going to end the broadcast. Y'all have a good Sunday, and I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Hitting the right button. Bye!